Thank you, sir. I would now like to welcome our next speaker for the session, Dr. Bharat Lohani, Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Kanpur, who will be joining us virtually. Dr. Lohani focuses on the modeling of the physical environment using high-resolution remote sensing data, with special emphasis on airborne, drone, mobile, and terrestrial LiDAR data and photographs for innovative applications. Sir, I request you to please take over.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please permit me to share my screen. Yeah, please permit me to share my screen. Yeah. Can you please permit me to share my screen? Yep, it's there now. Okay, fine, good. All right, I guess my screen is visible, is it? Yeah. Any confirmation, please? Is my screen visible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello. Wonderful, thank you. All right, so I'm told that my screen is visible and I'm audible also. Thank you very much. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk on this very important session. And you have very rightly labeled it, addressing the elephant in the room, because you can't hide an elephant in the room. And this geospatial skilling, or we can say geospatial education, geospatial R&D, is definitely an elephant which we need to address. And I bring, when I do this talk, I bring my experience as the professor in IIT Kanpur, and also as an entrepreneur, because I'm founder director with this Juno India Private Limited. So I have industry experience, I have the academic experience, and I bring both to this talk. And let me tell you that Rajesh Mathur sir and Dr. Datta, they have really covered many of the aspects which I wanted to cover in my talk. So they have provided the right perspective also, they have provided the right background, and already many things have been discussed by them. So what I will do, I will start with an exercise on diagnosis. And my diagnosis will be looking into some of the symptoms which we face on our day-to-day geospatial life. And then I will go for a roadmap, what should be done. Of course, many of the recommendations which I'm going to talk about have been listed by Dr. Datta and Mathur. Nevertheless, I would like to reiterate those because they are important. So let's do a diagnosis here. And let's look into some of the symptoms which we observe every day. Very important, our projects, they get delayed. They don't get completed in time. I will try to show, I'm not getting into all the reasons for why this is the cause. Okay, but somewhere the symptoms that we see, somewhere you'll find the lack of proper geospatial education is the cause. Of course, the cause can be many others. So number one, projects getting delayed. And many times the projects also don't get closed. Well, there are reasons. The departments, they don't have experts who can take call on the project, and then the projects are not being closed. Once the RFD is being written, RFP is being written in a little haste, and somehow the project is being executed, while at the time of closing the project, there are no experts in the department who can, bell the cat and who can sign the closure. Many times, the user departments, they don't know how to check the accuracy. Whatever is being delivered, they do not know how to check or how to validate the data or the softwares or the applications. So that is also the reason for projects not being closed. Many times from the vendor side also, there are technical issues in the project execution. Then in general, in India, we yet do not have a system for ensuring quality of the projects. We don't have a system for that. A vendor will do at its own level. The departments, the user departments, they will do at their own level. But still, we don't have a system which we can bank upon. Also, you will notice for many of our problem solving, we are still dependent upon the international consultants. And once I'm looking into these symptoms, I do not mean that this is the only scenario. Of course, they are very important successes are there. They are very important. Our technology developments are there. They are good sides also. But in general, I'm trying to present this picture in general. Of course, this we know still we are more or less dependent upon the imported technology, though there are some very shining examples in India of development of the technology. We do not have core experts. That's what Rajesh Master sir was also talking about. We don't have core experts. If we have the core experts, they are very few. And also they are in certain areas, not in all the areas of the geospatial. Again, I'm reiterating, in the industry, we don't get the employable workflows. Rather, in many industries, we start training them again. The outsource work, which is being done in India, is mostly low caliber. The high caliber work is done abroad, and then only low caliber work is being sent to the India. Yes, this is again a fact, and we like it or not, I would like to be here very straightforward that still not many solutions are emerging from India. We are doing research. There are good researches which are coming from India, but still, if we compare with some countries with the population size as of India, or even fewer population size than as of India, we don't have many high impact research publications in comparison. Same is the story about the patents. And of course, the last line, this is more on the, why our education session here is kept at the last in the conference. So as Master Saab also said, because this is education is very, very important, we keep it at the end of the conference. Nevertheless, this is also something, a symptom which I see here. Now, in whatever the symptoms that I was looking into, I don't say that we do not need to collaborate internationally. We need to collaborate internationally. That is the need of the hour, and that is how the international ecosystem works. And we have to be a part of that ecosystem. However, where my problem is that India needs to contribute according to its 1.3 billion population. And the question is, are we really contributing in all these areas, in the technology area, in the research area, in the patent areas, in the applications, in the solutions, in solving our own problems, apropos to our 1.3 billion population? That's a big question mark. Now, the reason for this can be many. However, one very important reason for this is the educational system that we have in India, and especially in geospatial. Let me show you a few examples here, because I have been talking about these issues since say 2012 when I wrote one article. Then last year also I wrote an article in the Current Science. This year also we, and with Mathur Saab, we wrote an op-ed in Hindu. And the core in all these, the questions are common. And the common question is, our education system is suffering because of few things. Though we have wonderful geospatial data guideline now, but only the guideline will not be able to solve the problem of India. Rather, we have to do many more things. One of them is our education system. Now, about the education system, let me do again one more thing here. And I have an hypothesis. The hypothesis is, if I ask this question in this room, what is geospatial? Well, we always start thinking, what is geospatial? Some of us are thinking, okay, it's GIS. Some of us are thinking, no, it's land surveying. Something, no, it is the aerial surveying. Something it is drone. Something it is SAR. Something it is structure from motion. Okay, something it is collinearity equation in the photogrammetry. Something it is the LiDAR survey. Something it is the GIS database. Some start thinking of the big data and so on. And that is fine also. That is perfect, because this is as per the training that we have received, we are thinking in that particular core area, that is geospatial. What I want to point out here, that not many in India, we think the entire spectrum of the geospatial. The entire spectrum of the geospatial, which starts from geodesy, which goes to reference systems, the projections, which goes to land survey, which goes to drone survey, aerial survey, which goes to different kinds of area survey. May it be multispectral, may it be photogrammetry, may it be LiDAR, may it be hyperspectral, may it be synthetic aperture radar. Then we are going to the satellite data for the capturing of the earth information from the satellite. Then the collection of the data, taking the data to the GIS, and then we are talking about the geospatial statistics there. We are talking about geostatistics. We are talking about the spatial statistics there, or spatial analysis there. We are talking about the big data. So end to end, this kind of thinking is not there. And the reason again is quite obvious, because we are not trained in that entire spectrum of the geospatial. This is what I say. I say when we lack the core professionals, we lack those core professionals who understand entire spectrum of the geospatial. They understand it, but at the same time, yes, they should have expertise in one area deeply. And because of that, I'm proposed some roadmap. The first roadmap is, or the first recommendation is, in India, we should have bachelor's level courses in IITs and NITs, 4-year-long bachelor's level courses in geospatial technologies. We have a few places in India where these courses are running. However, still it is not the mainstream. Like in Anna University or in Dehradun, IPC, these courses are being running, but it is not mainstream yet. And because it is not mainstream, we don't get good quality students to come to these kind of courses. And what these courses will do? These courses will train an individual in the entire spectrum of the geospatial, while later on, these individuals can take much deeper or become expert in one of the areas, which I call the T professionals in geospatial. So this is something which is missing. And if you see abroad, in West, once I did a survey of the universities abroad, 50% of the universities have got courses like this. So that's very important. Another thing which I recommend, I say that because we lack this spectrum or the core professionals or the cadre of the core professionals in India, so we need something more here. That is, in India, we need to conceive something like an Indian Institute of Geospatial Technology. Well, we have got IIRS, we have got NIGST, we have got IIST. So what is the role this Indian Institute of Geospatial Technology will play? Because these institutes, whether it is IIRS, IIST, or maybe NIGST, they all have some legacy with them. And they are working within that legacy. They are training the people as per that legacy to a certain set of people. What we need here, we need a place, a university, which can become the center of entire geospatial domain, which the center can become the national think tank, can become the national consultancy, so that our reliance on the international consultant becomes less. I also go one more step ahead. And this is really a very different kind of thought process that I have. That, like we have in railways, the SCRA. And then the railways, they train under this SCRA people, especially to be consumed or to be absorbed within the railway departments. I see that a university like this, the Indian Institute of Geospatial Technology, can produce a geospatial cadre. Geospatial cadre can then be absorbed in the ministries and the departments. Because today, we know that there is a huge potential for the use of the geospatial. And due to our poor guide or restrictions in the past, the geospatial technology or the uses of the geospatial technology could not be done that well in the past. So we have an extraordinary situation. This extraordinary situation will require an extraordinary measure. So I visualize a cadre which is trained by a university like this, goes to each ministry and department, and these people in those ministries and departments, they become the anchor people. Because today, those who handle the geospatial there, they are trained in either as a diploma or master's or maybe on job. They're doing very good job. There's no denying of this. But we need a cadre which can really anchor geospatial within these ministries and departments. Then the other recommendation that I go for is we should go for development of center of excellences. Like in IIT Kanpur, we have National Center for Geodesy. and it is doing an excellent job. We are running large number of short-term courses for people to be trained in geodesy. Also in IIT Kanpur, we have started diploma in IIT, and this program in geospatial. So people from industry, they can come, they can study our core theoretical courses for 1 year, then they can go back in the industry. Like also in IIT Bombay, they have GISE hub. So the purpose of these centers of excellence will be not only that we think of working in the application, rather India should start thinking of working in the technology development. So these center of excellences or those bachelor's degree courses in IITs and NITs or the Indian Institute of Geospatial Technology, they should think of now technology development. So we need to create leaders in these areas. Well, this is an issue which I will not talk much on, but we have large number of MTech and MSc and diploma courses which are running at the moment in India. And but not many times we will find the industry will find them employable. And mostly the industry again invest and trains them again. So we need to standardize the curriculum. We need to standardize the curriculum across different verticals of the skill sets, because there can be people who are trained in land surveying, there can be people who are in the aerial, there can be people who are in the GIS. So we have to identify those verticals, and institutes should take responsibility of training their individuals in certain areas. And of course, we should align it towards the new technologies. So the course curriculum revision is really important. One more idea that I gave, and this is a very very important model, and this is a very, very excellent model which runs in Europe, especially in Germany, and they call it dual education. So dual education is where the students are taking part of their training institute and part of their training in industry. And this program or these students are industry supported, because once they stay in institute for 1 year, again they work in the industry for 1 year, these students are ready to are employable. They know the industry, they can immediately become productive once they go to the industry. So I think this dual education system, we need to bring this in our education, and I believe the new education program NEP also talks about it. So this is something which we need to do in geospatial. Well, lastly, now I'm reaching towards my end of the slide. So whenever we are talking of the education in academic institutions, we need data for the research, we need data for exercises with the students. So the organizations like DST, who are giving projects to the different PIs, should ensure that the PIs, whenever they are collecting the data, they should maintain the data properly, they should make the data for sharing of the data. So that should become a part of the project proposal. So these data, once it is shared with all academic institutions, it will help the students to learn the things. One more area which is dear to me and which I believe suffered in India because of the old regulations. And this is about the high resolution remote sensing, aerial remote sensing. Now the drone is coming. And why? Because in satellite case, in the case of satellite, ISRO did great job. And in India, we have very good training and very good expertise available on the satellite remote sensing. However, we don't have expertise in the aerial data capture, in aerial data processing, in technology development in the area. So this is a special area. And I would again recommend here that the DST should come with something like a network research program, network research campaign, where a certain number of sites can be taken, where we have data, aerial data of LiDAR, hyperspectral photograph, and this data should be shared with all R&D organizations, with the startups, with the entrepreneurs, so that research can be carried out in this. One thing which is there in our new geospatial data guideline, it prohibits data sharing with international or foreign entities beyond a certain accuracy. I think for some sites which we call or which we declare as the research site, and these sites should be free from these restrictions, so that the research collaboration is on with the international experts. One more stuff that I would like to say, the academic startups, and within an academic institution, this is a very ideal environment for starting the companies, for entrepreneurs, for students to come up with new ideas. So what we need here, we need an ecosystem where the startups can use the facilities of the institutes, can use the data of the institutes, And also, this is an excellent program from the NGP DST, like they have started Geo Innovation Challenge. And we need to create more such things so that students, they start thinking in terms of geospatial, like the term coined by Dr. Dutta was geospatial thinking. That thinking should be there in the students. And then they start thinking of starting their own companies in this area. And so this academic environment, within academic environment, supporting the startups in geospatial is important. Lastly, and this is about the certification system. And many of the things that I was talking that, our projects are not being closed. We don't have a system for checking the accuracy of the data delivered and so on. So one reason for this is we don't have certified people like the surveyors, photogrammetrists, GIS engineers, and so on, like which are there in the other countries. So I think we need to find a way without delays to come up with this kind of cadre, this kind of certification system in India. Well, this is my last slide. And whenever we have a presentation like this, we come up with many recommendations, like I have done it. And but who will do it? The question is who will do it? I say, okay, DST government should do it. DST government says no, industry should do it. Industry says no, academic institutions should do it. I think this is our common responsibility, and we all have to do it. And we need to bring our talk to the action, because we can take the advantage of our new geospatial data guidelines only if we have the right kind of human resource available in the country. If that is not there, whatever is being given by the guidelines, we cannot really make use of this. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much. If at all there is any question, let me know. Thank you.